stop at any private car park these days and chances are you'll find a sign warning you could be clamped. But here in the Southampton and Eastleigh area, one firm seems to be everywhere: White's Car Park Solutions. Its boss, Jason White, has certainly hit the headlines. In the past, angry motorists have even beaten him up. Most recently, in Winchester, he was threatened with a meat cleaver. So, what is it that makes people so angry? After all, he's just doing his job. All these motorists have been clamped by Mr. White's company, and what makes their blood boil is how the costs can rack up, especially if you're towed away.
We were nearly talking £800. You're going to have to pay me £428.
Tough. £400.
£564 in total.
£680, 40p.
We thought we'd take a look at the way he operates. Now, we did ask Mr. White if we could go out clamping with him, but he declined. So, I am going undercover, using possibly one of the worst disguises ever seen on television. Roller skating accident. Nasty. It appears young or old, crutches or no crutches, anyone's fair game.
Well, it was an area that I've parked in lots of times before. I visited a friend in Jansen Road, and I had no idea that it had been made a prohibited area, so I didn't look for any signs or anything like that. And then when I came back later, the car had gone, which of course I thought it had been stolen, which was a big shock.
90-year-old Dennis Wilson wasn't displaying his disability badge when he parked on a site patrolled by Whites. His car was seized, and because it was a Friday, they said he couldn't collect it until after the weekend. And the total bill?
By the Monday, it was £300 for towing away, £180 I think it was for the clamp, 4 days storage at £42, and then on top of that you're virtually obliged to pay by credit card because not many people can lay their hands on £700 or £800 on the spur at the moment, and they charge 5% of the total. So my total I paid was £680, 40p.
Now that is a tidy sum. So we're on our way to a car park to get clamped. But what are the rules on clamping? There's never a parking expert about when you need one. Oh, hold on. What Patrick Troy doesn't know about parking isn't worth knowing.
Clamping is unregulated in this country. We've introduced a form of self-regulation, which is a code of practice which our members have to comply with. Unfortunately, it is voluntary, which means that there are companies like the company you're investigating who aren't members and are therefore not controlled.
So Whites, by not signing up, don't have to keep to the guidelines. Okay, so what are their rules? Let's park somewhere we shouldn't. A private staff car park in Eastleigh in Hampshire. Sorry, Blockbuster. While my pretend sister and I go off shopping, this happens. Been clamped? You're joking? How much is it going to cost?
It's going to cost 180.
180 quid?
Yeah.
For putting a clamp on?
Yeah.
To make matters worse, if I don't pay up, this guy tells me he'll summon the tow truck and take my car away. How am I going to get 180 quid?
That's not our responsibility.
But if he can't get the money,
We're towed.
because it's going to cost more to get it towed, won't it?
Because if I could afford tow truck,
300 quid. That's ridiculous. My wallet's emptying fast. 180 quid for the clamp release, and on top of that, a possible £300 tow away fee. It seems there's nothing I can do about it.
No, it wasn't reasonable, and by any definition that's excessive. What we say in our code is that you either have a clamp release fee or you have a tow away fee. You can't charge both if you're removing the vehicle after you've clamped it. There should be one charge. It's meant to be a deterrent, and it's a deterrent to the motorist to parking there in the first place. It shouldn't be excessive and it shouldn't be unreasonable.
After a fake trip to the cash point, I pretend I can't get the £180. The car, therefore, will be taken to the compound. But then there's the small matter of getting it back. Do I go there and get the car? What do you mean, other way? Now I know the White's compound is just a few minutes away, but I'm told I can't collect my car. They'll have to deliver it to me, and guess what? That's another 50 quid.
Well, you charge him for delivery.
I don't want him to deliver it. I want to come and pick it up. But you're saying that he can, if it does get towed back to the compound, I can't just come and pay the money tomorrow. Overnight fee I'll get charged as well. And then, as on top of that, he'll say, I'm going to deliver it to you, and that will cost me money. I can't come and get it. You're just making it up. Now, there's no going back on the fact that I've parked somewhere I shouldn't, but imagine what it's like if you haven't parked wrongly in the first place and you still get clamped. Like Holly, who says she'd simply parked in her own parking space outside her flat.
I knew that my permit was displayed, I was in the right car park, in the right car parking space, and that my permit wouldn't be out of date for another sort of 6 months or so.
She says White's told her the permit was out of date and she had to pay up. Holly took the matter to the county court and White's were told to pay back the clamping fee. To date, she hasn't received a penny. Mark says he was also wrongly clamped. He claims it was a case of an overzealous clamper operating in a neighbouring car park.
Next door's premises have got a clamping zone, but it was on private property where I was. I just asked him to release the clamp, but he phoned his office and said he wasn't allowed to till the fee was paid.
So Mark decided to take matters into his own hands.
I got an angle grinder from my premises and cut the clamp off.
But bizarrely, you're the one who got in trouble for doing that.
Yeah, I got arrested for criminal damage and taken to court. But on the second court appearance, obviously I pleaded not guilty. On the second court appearance, Mr. White and his merry men didn't show up, so they just dropped the case.
Meanwhile, the boss himself, Jason White, has arrived and is preparing to take my wheels away. And it's all going to cost me £614. Mr. White, how can you justify 600 quid? It doesn't cost you 600 quid to run a tow truck, is it? The government don't say 600 quid, that's rubbish. That is rubbish. White's signs do list all the charges he's come up with, so he could say we've all been warned. But there's a lot of charges and a lot of small print. Do you not have to give me paperwork at all? You can't just take my car?
The law's not clear enough, you know, where do I stand? I'm in the wrong straight away. It's either pay the money or you've got no car.
I think it's disgusting the amount of money that he charges. I think it's disgusting the way that he conducts his business.
If you don't pay it there and then, you're looking at hundreds and hundreds of pounds. It's just not fair. It's not fair at all.
The next day, at a time decided by White's Car Park Solutions, I'm told to return to Blockbuster Car Park. Our man wants his cash, but there's no sign of my car.
You will pay me now. Sign receipt, £2 over to me, that miracle's not coming back.
Look,
You know,
that's the cash there.
I need it in my hand, I need to take the payment.
So even though I've shown you the money, I can't see my car.
I need to take the payment. It's the way he does it, mate. The way he does it.
It's just a joke. You guys just get funnier every time. So I hand over the 600 quid. 1, 2, 3, and Mr. White rings to check the transaction is complete.
Yeah, all done, mate. Waiting for you now. Alright.
While he writes the receipt, it all starts to come out. This clamper seems to have a heart.
I really do feel sorry for people, really do. But if I felt that sorry for people, why would I be doing the job? But I generally do feel sorry for people.
Yeah, but it's not the job, is it? It's the amount that you charge.
So the worst part of the job is taking money. I hate taking money.
You do.
I hate taking money off people. I really do. I earn some good money every month, but you know, the amount of I have to put up with, the amount of I go through.
Heart to heart over, it's back to business. Cue Mr. White and my car. Now the tiny issue of getting my car off the truck. I can't. I've got to wait for my sister to come and In the end, we push it off. How do you come up with your fees?
You need to speak to the government on that. They authorise us to do this.
The government?
Fees, yeah.
So if I wanted to complain about the fees and stuff,
Yeah.
who do I?
You write to us or write to the SIA.
The SIA, who are they then?
They can regulate us.
In fact, it's the SIA, the Security Industry Authority, who issue clampers like Mr. White with their licences, but they won't investigate individual complaints. And as for Mr. White's claim that the government authorises the fees, well, that's rubbish. In fact, next year there's expected to be a new law that bans clamping on private land altogether. We did ask Mr. White for an interview, but he didn't take us up on our offer. So for now, he's at liberty to carry on clamping and charging fees that the British Parking Association says considerably exceed its guidelines.
This isn't about extortion, this is about managing private land, and clamping is simply a means of managing private land. It shouldn't be seen as a way of making lots of money out of people or extorting money out of people.
7 months after he was clamped, World War II veteran Mr. Wilson is still fuming.
The man is absolutely beneath contempt. A lot of my friends were killed fighting for the freedom that Jason White misuses to inflict on his fellow human beings.